So season 4 was looking pretty solid in general, nothing crazy, but also nothing broken until they actually snuck some stealth changes into the game that they didn't include in the patch notes. They're obviously called stealth changes because they changed them without notifying anyone anywhere. And it's pretty important because they impacted one of the meta guns. I ended up trying out the Striker 9 earlier and I was like, well, this should be nothing burger. In terms of a change, the reality of min damage impacting the gun that's supposed to be used in close quarters, it shouldn't really impact the gun. But True Game Data ended up doing some testing and when I compared it to what it was before, I was like, what the heck? He must have messed up. And then he went and tweeted about, hey, you know what? FYI, they made this stealth change. And it's kind of alarming because he only found it because he was checking this specific gun. But this kind of leaves you to question what else is possibly being stealth changed that could be impacting the gun. Sometimes better, they could be stealth buffing, which is kind of cool. It kind of slips under the radar. No one knows about it until it gets tested. And then there's other scenarios where things get nerfed and they feel kind of like garbage, but you really don't know because there's not really a suitable area to test all that easy. So in this particular case, if we remember, the TTK on this thing was sitting right around 650-ish. It actually lowered this to 700. Although it didn't have the fastest TTK out the gate, it still remained competitive because of the movement speed. But at 700 TTK, you're better off using some rifles over this SMG. So unfortunately, this change to the Striker 9 that was kept hidden from us in the patch notes is significant enough to actually take it completely out of the meta, at least in my opinion. So let's go ahead and look at some of the other various options. There's quite a lot to choose from. We'll go ahead and switch this from chest up to combination so we get a little bit more of a realistic shot placement. You can kind of see where things lay out. We do have the WSP Stinger, which comes in here at the fastest TTK, but the hipfire on that kind of sucks. You really can't build it, even though it's hipfire, to have a good hipfire spread in akimbo. So that's a fun gimmicky gun, definitely usable, but probably not like hard meta for a lot of people. They like that single fire where they can challenge people at short to medium-ish range, depending on how you're going to take your gunfights. The new Superi 46, pretty solid all the way across. You can see it has very reliable TTKs, especially once you get beyond that first damage drop off. It competes pretty well. So definitely unlock that in the battle pass, unlock it. We'll go over some loadouts on that. But we can also see another gun in here, which is the WSP 9. It looks like it has a really good TTK at 600 milliseconds. Yeah, the open bolt delay kind of makes it worse. It's one of the only guns out of those SMG category that has that open bolt. So you will have to account for that. This is like a slight delay when you pull the trigger. If you're already pre-firing, it doesn't really matter. You get the good fast TTK, just a little bit slower fire rate, so it's a little bit more unforgiving. AMR is kind of back in the mix here. They did increase the damage profile here, so they added another drop off. So now it doesn't have that first range, and it's got buffed again. So it's actually back into the mix. A little bit slow sprint to fire time. The FJX Horus is actually pretty good here, and you can see 10-meter range. We could bump that out a little bit further with a barrel and a muzzle. Only problem with that one is the downs per mag isn't as good. Even though the new SMG has only 40 bullets, the downs per mag with that just feels a little bit better when you're using the gun. So we'll go ahead and kind of take a look at that. That's kind of where the close range meta sits. I've already updated my spreadsheet, so if you want this, is linked in the description. You can kind of get an idea of what I think is at least the meta at the moment. It'll update kind of as it goes, because sometimes things, like I said, with stealth changes may slip through the cracks, but these are relatively updated as of now and as of that update. So you kind of want to see where things go. So we'll go ahead and check out these top 3 guns at the moment. And then I'll probably have a more detailed close range meta video this week. So the 3 different builds we'll go ahead and talk about are this WSP 9. Like I said, I'll go in a little bit more detail once I have a chance to kind of break down a lot more options. And overall, I'm liking this meta that we're at because it's a slight shift. Obviously, we had the HRM for a while with the RAM and kind of adjusted here with the Striker 9 and the WSP 9. And now we kind of have a 3, 4-ish, maybe even 5 weapon close range meta, depending on your preference, and then some more viable options outside of that. This particular build on the WSP 9 is kind of the one I've been more accustomed to using. You can see kind of that slower fire rate compared to these other 2 weapons. Pretty solid option overall. I think it gets the best downs per mag. If you wanted to speed it up, you could always go with the 40 round mag, and that would kind of change it up, where you get a little bit more ADS out of it. And because the downs per mag is so solid with the 40 rounds still, you're able to still challenge in trios or whatever the case, especially if you're efficient with your reload timings. Then we get the Horus. You can see they're both the recommended, so you can level them up a little quicker. The Horus wasn't that great. I'm not a big fan of the iron sights, but this one's more you would use it up close. With 48 and how fast it fires, you don't really want to burn through your bullets all that fast. It's almost 1,000 RPM. Like the Fennec, right? When you could just... the bullets go out fast. So very likely you can miss some shots. You can see a little bit of side-to-side wobble. So much less a sniper support, much less a mid-range demon. Very much get in there, get close, 10-meter shots, and then shoot targets within that 10, 12 meter range, which I have it built out here. You're getting that little bit extra range up to about 13.5 meters. And that's kind of where the build is built towards. Then we get the brand new IM Speed Superi 46. There's a few different builds you can do with this to speed it up quite a bit. I'm liking the Zulu barrel. There are other barrels that are also fast if you want to use this one with the suppressor or other types of things that you want. In terms of this, you can use the hand stop instead. But overall, this is kind of the build I found to be very fast, very mobile. You can even get rid of the Zemin if you wanted and maybe put on a laser if you want to speed it up somehow. Iron sights are very good on this. And the strike speed is kind of crazy when you're moving around. So I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. The 40 round mag is maybe its only hindrance. But it's a very manageable one where you can even hit targets kind of at that further range. Obviously it doesn't have plates, but that's 50 meters. You really shouldn't be challenging with that. If you're extra or particularly skilled, you could probably build this to be a sniper support weapon and be able to challenge people with plates at that range by putting on maybe a different underbarrel, and it'll still allow you to get that mobility. Let me know, what are your thoughts of the close range meta shakeup? Do you think it's enough? And are there any other sleepers that you're using? Go ahead and leave it down in the comments. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.